I forgot to mention this last week. There was a 20% off sale in the mod collection, but it says it ends 7/31. I'm recording this on August 3rd at 11 a.m. It's still there. I'm curious if that code still works. Let's give it a try on old Calypso Burst. Mod 20. Oh man, that's brutal. I bet they're gonna update that on Monday when they get in. However, oh, that's interesting. They actually have Gibson accounts now? I remember back at the peak of the mod collection days, it was always a mad dash to type in all your stuff. That's nice that they've changed that now. I'll certainly have to look into that. However, we've got a lot of guitars to cover tonight. We're gonna start with the standard 50s that they called the Conversation Pit, likely due to its Doritos-influenced geometric design. People will certainly want to talk to you about that. It's interesting. You got some light orange with some burnt orange, but then those darker ones have a bit of shading on the bottom. It's not necessarily a mind twister this time, but it's cool and extra fun because we got the P90 pickups. Although if I were going to design it, instead of Les Paul model silkscreen, I would have put one more of those triangles. But I'm impressed here. They actually put a stinger on the back just for fun, whereas the rest of the back was a bare natural. And next you've got tickets to the Smoke Show for $5,800. It reminds me of the original Rhino Les Paul Access Customs, except for this one has what appears to be maybe a little bit of gold flake within that dark gray finish. Could just be the lighting or the gold reflecting off of it. It's familiar and it's nice. And doesn't rock the boat too much. It's completely matching on the back. But our cutaways definitely show that gold metallic nature. That one's probably going to be a lot prettier in person. Have you tried an Access Custom yet? Next is the Churning Cherry Sparkle 60 Standard. Beautiful red metallic matched with our golden bonnet knobs. You got the hardware, matching pickup covers. But the one little thing that makes me go, oh yeah, look at that fretboard. It has this nice cherry streak within it. That's a good match. We even have a little bit of fanciness on our headstock in the form of Schaller Perloid tips found on locking Grover tuners. That's a cool upgrade. But whereas the top is metallic and sparkly, the back is just a solid dark red. Now a 59 reissue 355 in Rhueberry Ice Pearl. The name appears to be a blending of rhubarb and blueberry. So a little bit of red and some blue with some metallic flakes in between. That's how you got your color scheme on this one. Definitely begging for a matching headstock to be just the blue color, but that does not appear to be the case. However, whoa, is that just an obnoxiously blue mother of pearl inlay right there? Or do they just spray that one small bit? Perhaps that was the inspiration of why this one was colored the way it was. The back's about what I was expecting with the continuation of the burst job and a natural neck. However, wait till you see the sides. Flipping through these more candid shots, I just went, whoa. Perhaps it might be a flip-flop and finish along the edges. Or maybe that just happens to be the red area and then the rest is blue. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot to go off of when it comes to looking at the direct edge. Lots of dull reds this week, though. Now we've got the Burgundy Fizz 60 Standard. Kind of like our rhubarb friend, just without the blue in the center. But okay, there's where our bonus points went. It gets that slightly tinted lacquer over the face of the headstock, which gives our Gibson logo that cool color. The back is a completely matching metallic red. I like the name of this one. Brown's top. You know, bronze and brown combined. Kind of reminds me of how they're doing the oxblood finish, but maybe not quite as dark. It's a bit of brown. It might have a little bit of metallic nature to it, but I like that natural back. It's like gold top, but something different. And then they added the Moto backplates just for fun. Here's a lighted shot to show you how that finish looks. And now we've got a Curacao blue. On the 335 figure, this doesn't look all that different from the stock option. I think they call it blueberry burst, but you get a little bit of a yellowish tinge from the natural maple colors bleeding through. You just don't have the purple that the blueberry burst has. I like it. The further away you are, the more that yellow pokes through. But judging by the face of our headstock, it looks like we're going to have a special finish on the back. And hey, cool. Gibson Memphis truss rod cover still being used up. Okay. So see-through transparent top like you'd want on a figured, but then the back is a nice dark metallic blue, so you get the best of both worlds. And you also get it on the back of your neck. Overall, a pretty nice showing for the USA side of things. Now, last week, the EU did not update. They did a double update this week. I've got to say, I think this is one of the nicest one we've seen from them. They called it Neon Squirt. I am not sure if that's a reference to something. I really don't like blood splatter paint jobs, but doing it up in black and having a neon green finish underneath it reminds me of like a Monster Energy drink or various other early 2000s edgy promo advertisings for like BMX bikes or something. It's cool. I like it. I would love to see a whole series. And here's what's great about it being green. I can do that. I can show you pink. I can show you purple. I can show you orange. All these other different rainbow colors. This is a perfect example of something that we need a limited edition run, do 50 of each color, and let it speak to who it speaks to. But what's cool about this is it wasn't only the top. You get the complete back too, and let's just say the paint job worked out better in other areas. Right here, it's like a slashing design, which is cool, but we've got like way too much of a black splotch right there. But that's what would be cool about this run, is every one would technically be a little bit different. And then the back of our headstock has a really cool like spider webbing effect going on. And then the beautiful Mod Collection decal placed on top of the madness. That's a winner in my book. But now we've got the Baseberry Blitz. At first glance, it just looks like a metallic purple. However, on second thought, if you look along the edges, it's either going to be metallic and or color shifting. So purple and kind of a magenta red is what we're working with here. But you don't often see Gibson use black knurled knobs. Then cool for our headstock, I really like this tortoiseshell truss rod cover, especially when the light's peeking through it. And it looks like the back was painted in the exact same stuff. As you can see, the edges are also that lighter purple hue. Then we've got the gold dusted shamrock. I would imagine that means it's like that other one that has the gold that just slightly pokes through depending on your angle. Not really that close to St. Patrick's Day, but it doesn't have to be to love shamrocks. But oh no, our headstock. It's matching, but they gave it the tuners that I just despise. That's okay, easy enough to swap out. But they continued on the paint job everywhere. This one's a 330. You don't find those in custom colors every day. In Golden Lime Margarita. It's outfitted stock with a Bigsby, and they put the Vibramate spoiler system on it to make stringing easier. And the back is matching, but it's not just a natural neck. They actually have that sprayed off a little bit more, like a 80s/90s tobacco sunburst. Interesting. And wow, stock Mini Grover tuners on this model? This next one is just so fantastic. 68 reissue triple P90s called Heliotrope Bloom. It's quite pricey at nearly 7,000 euros, but wow. If you've never tried a triple P90 Les Paul Custom, you need to. I called it the Queen of Clean when I reviewed one back in, 2020, something like that. It's one of those guitars that's always stuck in my head. Now, they've since made a few of them, but if the white wasn't your style, here we go. Purple into blue, that's going to be a color shifting effect. And whoa! If you're wondering what's going on with our headstock here, that is not binding. Like, maybe it has binding, maybe it doesn't, but that is a big stripe of white, unless they just obnoxiously bound it with a really thick binding, but I don't think that's the case. If you look closely, you can see some paint contamination right there. Now that I know to look for that, that is quite different looking. But then you flip over to the back and it's like a completely different guitar. They've painted our back plates in this kind of angelic purple burst. And then as far as our neck, it's just, I was gonna say the center color, but no, that looks like an even more different color that has a little bit more metallic flake in it, or maybe it's just reflecting the light differently so we can see it. So it's got unique pickups, very, very interesting paint job, weird stuff going on with our headstock. DS Serial 169, that thing was created quite a while ago. Had those cool milk bottle Grovers. Looks like we still have the fret nibs. This one's fun too. It's very basic. They called it Silver Shadow. It's one of the Guitar Center exclusive Studio Dark models. However, they just painted it silver, changed up our pickup rings a bit, and appears to have left most of the rest of the stuff alone. It works. It really reminds me of some of those old baritone Les Paul Studios in the Platinum series. Yeah, they doubled down on the whole black and white theme, because not only do you have the black back plates, if you know to look for it, this is my favorite thing about black binding are the white side marker inlays. Then up here on the back side of the headstock, you also get the black tuner tips. So that was a great week from these guys. Which makes up for the Gibson demo shop. They didn't list much this week. My highlights included a Les Paul Studio in Cherry Sunburst that they modified with uncovered pickups and a dirty fingers in the bridge. The standard 50s had what they called a custom shop top, not much going on the back. I actually preferred this Studio in iced tea. You can tell that one's just gonna move so much in person, but as you guys know, I like the wide flames. I'm biased there. This SJ200 original had an interesting wood grain on the back. It's very nicely book matched, and it just kind of makes like a wing design on both sides here, and then you got like an angry eyebrows furrowing down. So I guess you could say it's an evil smiley face, but that might be stretching it a bit. If anything, I see more like Native American art, which is nice in the natural beauty of the wood. And speaking of natural beauty, lastly is this J45 50s original. Heritage Cherry Sunburst True Vintage. I didn't know we were still using that branding. I saved it because the spruce top has these like interesting line formations in it. That might just be a natural variance within the wood grain that'll have that nice dancing effect. Maybe not, but I thought it was interesting. But alright, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed this week's recap, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.